It's a bad scenario, of course. I mean, for a lot of people who work and who are workers under the employment of state government and local government workers are even worse, because you hear a situation where states are owing they are owing state workers 6 months, they are owing local government workers 9 months or double. As it stands right now, what is the worst case scenario going forward?
First and foremost, our oil production is back to 1.8 million barrels. The oil price is above $57 a barrel. So our situation today is infinitely better than it was a year ago. So to think that they are still having problems in spite of the fact that oil price has increased to $57 a barrel and our production has gone to 1.8 million barrels means that these problems are chronic and acute, in which case the solution is not just in an increase in revenue. It is in the way the revenues are being deployed and the expense structure of the states. You must go back to the drawing board and amputate and actually shed weight. There's need for load shedding amongst the working group in these states. Either you do that or everybody is going to sink at the same time.
Mr. Ariwani, are you afraid that some of the state governments diverted some of these funds? Because this is some of the fears. ICPC the other time came forward to say, we have traced that some of these governors and governments did not really use the bailout funds for the purposes by which they were disbursed in the first place.
Well, the problem is we are going into a political campaign season. Some of these guys are going to be helping themselves by feathering their own nests. If you had an effective campaign and war against corruption, the existing governors also should be looked at very closely, and including existing executives, to see how much of leakages are still taking place. In spite of all of the rhetoric, we know there are leakages, and that cannot be tolerated at a time when workers have not been paid. It is an act of larceny, to use the words of Professor Akenyebode. It's an act of larceny for you to actually be looting funds at a time when you have not met the basic salary requirements of your citizens.
Isn't it the responsibility of the federal government that was disbursing this money in the first place to critically and closely monitor the disbursement and the payment or the utilization of some of these funds?
No. Under a federal structure, those monies belong to the states. The federal government cannot stop the states from spending their money, cannot ask them how to spend their money. The federal government has its 52.5 and have to manage their own resources. They cannot be babysitting and spoon-feeding the states and the local governments. There's a requirement, and the rules are there that you must meet certain minimum requirements as a fit and proper person, have a managerial skill of some sort, to become a governor of a state, to become a deputy governor, to become a legislator in the state, to become a commissioner in the state. Those things are there. No matter what you do, if it's not working, it's because there are either a people problem, a process problem, and more important, there's a structural problem.
All right. Just as we close now, Mr. Ariwani, yet another difficult situation I'm going to put you. And just in a few seconds, I want you to put solution to put these to rest tonight. If I, for example, I have the power to cede Nigeria to you, you are the owner of the federal government, you are the owner of the 36 states, and some of these 36 states are insolvent. Right now, if you have the power and the magic wand, what would you do with it?
First of all, if you are insolvent, what you do is to raise capital. If you are a company, you can actually ask for forbearance, restructure your debt. These debts are there. So there's a debt profile, there's a revenue profile, and there's an expense profile. These are management issues. And if you're not fit to manage a state, like they say, if you don't like the smell of smoke, leave the kitchen. There's nothing wrong in state governors abdicating their responsibility, actually resigning and moving away because they are not able to cope with the task ahead of them, rather than making fake and false promises. I think people have to be responsible to handle their own fiscal responsibilities.
Ms. Makiwani, always a pleasure having you talk to us on some of these very knotty issues of finances and economics. Thank you so much for talking to us on the program tonight. That's Ms. Makiwani, a regular economic analyst on Channels Television. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for being part of it. Look forward to the special independence package of Sunday Politics on Sunday. It's going to be a very interesting one. I'm Sean Okimale. Bye, everyone.